What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Talk about the episode 114, the Wednesday news. And on today's episode, I'm going to talk about a four-peat in college sports, which is super rare, plus a lot of jerseys to talk about. And Formula One spots are filling up. But first, let's head into the NHL. So we'll start off with the Stanley Cup Finals, which is game 2 now. Honestly, very good games. If you haven't watched them at all, you should be. I did not make my predictions because last week's episode we did not have one. So welcome back. It's been 2 weeks now, I think, since we had a Wednesday news. But Florida is the team I'm going with. Keep the cup in the States. I think it's hilarious that Canada hasn't won it in 30 years. So I really like what Florida is going on with right now too. Up 2-0 in the series. But let's take you game 1 first. They won a 3-0 game. Bobrovsky with a 32-save shutout in that one. Verhaeghe, Rodriguez, and Luostarinen all with the goals in this one. Verhaeghe with the game winner in the first period, his 10th of the playoffs. With that win, though, it made Florida lead the series in the finals for the first time in franchise history, which is actually their third trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. They were swept in their first time there, lost in 5 games last year to Vegas, did not lead in that series at all. We had a game 2, which was played 2 nights ago. This is recorded on Tuesday, but you guys are seeing this on Wednesday. So 2 nights ago, a 4-1 win for the Panthers. Bobrovsky came up big again. Not as much action this time, though. 18 of 19 saves in this one. Ekholm ended up scoring the only goal for Edmonton, the first goal for Edmonton of these playoffs. Gave them that 1-0 lead, but it didn't last too long. Mikkola got his second. Rodriguez scored 2, including a power play goal, which ended Edmonton's streak of 34 straight penalties killed. Outstanding. Great penalty kill by the Oilers this playoffs. And Ekblad added an empty netter to make it the 4-1 lead. So Edmonton down 2-0. History is not on their side right now. Teams that go down 2-0 have only won 5 times in best of 7 Stanley Cup Finals. 49-5 for those teams that are up 2-0. Last team to make it that was down 2-0 to win the Stanley Cup was the 2011 Boston Bruins. We also had the 2009 Penguins, the 1971 Canadiens, 1966 Canadiens, and 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs. Not good whatsoever. Personally, you're never out until you lose at home. Edmonton hasn't lost at home. The series shifts over to Edmonton on Thursday, so I would not expect them to be out yet. They still got McDavid. Draisaitl, a little iffy. I'm not too sure. I don't know if they're going to get potential suspension. There was an elbow to Ekblad, to Barkov in that game too. They got a 2-minute penalty for it, but I'm not hearing anything about potentially suspension or anything like that. So if that's the case, it should be a full lineup for Edmonton. They really have to bounce back in this one. They go down 3-0. I don't think there's any chance of coming back. They get 1. I think kind of get the gears rolling. Definitely have to go 2-2 going back to Game 5 if they want to stay in this series. All right, let's head to Vancouver, where Elias Lindholm is set to hit the market. He actually turned down a 7-year, $7 million contract from the Canucks. He actually got a bigger contract from Calgary and turned that one down. So I don't know what he's looking for. I don't know if it's the team he's looking for. I don't know if it's location. I don't know if he wants out of Canada at all. But expect Elias Lindholm to hit the free agent market this offseason. Dallas GM Jim Gill won GM of the Year for the second straight year in a row. Utah has announced there are 6 finalist names for their new hockey team. Actually, very surprised that they have narrowed it down to 6 already. Season hasn't even started, and if we come out with a name in the middle of the season, awesome. But do we start calling the Utah team that team, like the Utah whatever, or do we just call them like Utah? I feel like they got to slow down, pump the brakes a little bit. But here are the finalists, the 6 names here. We got Blizzards, Hockey Club, Mammoths, Outlaws, Venom, and Yeti. Out of all this, very disappointed to see a B representation is not in there. No Hive, no Swarm, no Wasp, or anything like that. Kind of disappointing there. I really like that B symbolism for Utah there. But we do have a lot of black and yellow teams across all sports. So I can see them just kind of finding a different colorway. Definitely understand that reasoning there. But looking at these names, Blizzard sounds okay. I'm not too high on it. Hockey Club, no way. It sounds like it's a travel team, the Utah Hockey Club. It sounds good for this season if they wanted to call them that. If they wanted to call them the Utah Hockey Club for this season, it sounds okay, but not for a long term. I don't really want to hear that. The Mammoth, I think, sounds really cool. I think you have a really cool, intimidating logo, even a silhouette or maybe a straight-on face of the Mammoth itself. I think it could be really good. Outlaws, I feel like it's overused across all sports. I don't really want to hear it again, so I don't want to see the Utah Outlaws in that. Utah Venom, I think it's good. Not as good as Mammoth to me. I think there's a lot of stuff you could do with this. Color-wise, you could have any color pretty much in this. Really cool logo designs, texture like snake pattern on the arm sleeves or something like that. And the striping, I think that all could be implemented into this. So I think that's actually a really good look. Could be really cool branding there. But the last one with Yeti, I think this is a fan favorite for everybody. Yeti to me, I think sounds really cool. Don't put an S on the end of that. I think the Utah Yeti sounds awesome. Really cool branding opportunities there with the logos and the colors. I would expect it. They do go with Yeti, probably go with the light blues and the dark blues, just kind of like keeping it very icy feel. I would expect that from them, but I think they could be really cool branding opportunities. So Utah, you got 6 names left. I'm not sure what you guys want, but my top 2, Yeti and Mammoth. The NHL announced that we're going to get an increase in the salary cap this upcoming season. It's going up $6 million to $88 million. Big bump. That's really honestly a big signing for a player or for a team. So would not be surprised to see a lot of teams implement that this offseason with a lot of good names going out there. One that really has been circling for me, Steven Stamkos. I'm very curious to see where he's going to go. Is he going to re-sign with Tampa Bay? Is he going to go across the border, go back up to Canada, play for a hometown team up there, maybe even come to California, play with Anaheim? I think that'd be really cool to see. Anaheim's got a lot of money to spend. Pair him up with Alex Killorn, ex-teammate, Stanley Cup champ teammate too. I think that could be a lot of fun. But $6 million definitely could be a lot for a team. Definitely the team that's going to be struggling with this cap issue. They also announced the 4-nation face-off schedule. So we're going to get 4 games in Montreal and 3 games in Boston, including the finals in Boston. So it's going to start on February 12th and it'll go Canada and Sweden opening up those, and then 3 additional games after that. Then we go to Boston where they host 2 games on February 17th and the finals on February 20th. The finals will be the best 2 teams remaining, and that point system will be 3 round-robin games of a 3-2-1-0 point system. 3 points for regulation win, 2 points for an overtime win, 1 point for an overtime loss, and 0 points for a regulation loss. Really just feels like a normal Pee-wee hockey tournament everybody's been playing and knows that kind of system. So we're going to see that for those 3 round-robin games. The top 2 teams will play in the finals on February 20th in Boston. All right, not a lot to talk about when it comes to MLB, but let's get into it. The Chicago White Sox have finally won a game. They were on a 14-game losing streak. Not good. It was a franchise worst. Outscored in this one, 97-45 in those games. Finally, we were able to beat Boston 7-2. Did end up losing the 4-game set though, 3-1. But the White Sox are back in the win column, so it's good to see them back in the win column there. We got some DFA news. Harold Ramirez from Tampa Bay and Toronto's Kevin Biggio have both been DFA'd. Very surprised. Don't really know their numbers too much. Don't really know how well Tampa Bay and Toronto have been using them in the lineup. So maybe it's just been a long time coming. Not too familiar with Toronto's lineup or Tampa Bay's lineup there. Toronto also announced that Alek Manoah will undergo season-ending surgery, another victim to the elbow injury, so that's tough news for Manoah. And Philadelphia announced that JT Realmuto will be placed on the 10-day IL with right knee pain, will undergo surgery tomorrow. This is doing it on Wednesday, actually, so we won't know how long that timeline honestly will be, though. All right, let's get into uniforms. We have so much uniforms that I made it my own separate section here. So we're going to start off with the oldest news, I guess, and we'll go down the line to the newest news. Utah Jazz. They have released 4 new jerseys for this upcoming season. Feels like they just rebranded too, so I don't know what's going on with the Jazz. But anyways, these uniforms look very good. 2 purples, a white, and a black. I will say the 2 purples to me look very similar. If you look at them close, yeah, they're different. Different on the mountains, different on the coloring and stuff like that. But overall, I think both purples look great, but I really do think you don't need two of them. I think keeping one or the other. The white one looks very good with the modernized mountain range, and the logo looks very good. I really like that white one. That black one is where it kind of is like it's a hit or miss for most people. For me, it's a miss. I don't really like it too much, but I like that it incorporates the music note, kind of brings both brands back in together as one jersey. So that's kind of cool, but not a huge fan of the black jerseys. Really like the purple, and I'm a big fan of the white jerseys for the Jazz. All right, let's move on to the Minnesota Vikings, which released a Winter Warrior alternate uniform this week. It's an all-white jersey, helmet, and pants. Very surprised to see this from Minnesota, especially because they're big on the purple. We know the Minnesota Vikings for their purple. Not a lot of purple in this uniform. We got a little bit of purple on the shoulders with the Nike logo and a little bit of the striping there. Purple numbers, which do really pop, so you're going to be able to see that from anywhere in the stadium, which I really like. I don't like when teams make the jersey numbers too hard to see. You can't see a favorite player from up high. You have to be down low. So really like that the purple definitely pops with that white uniform. And on the helmet, just a little bit of purple on the outline of the horns, which are going to be in white too. So a lot of white in this uniform. Personally, I think it's a miss. It's a lot of white. I think maybe if I saw it on the field against another team, I maybe would like it a lot better. Personally, I don't think it's for me. I'll give it a 5.7 out of 10. I just don't think it's going to work to me. So that's unfortunate. But we'll move on to the next uniform where we stay in the state of Minnesota. The Twins released the City Connect. It is the last team to have a City Connect that is scheduled to have a City Connect. The Yankees and the Oakland Athletics will not be getting City Connects. Obviously, Oakland doesn't really have a city to play in this upcoming season, so I'm not surprised they're not going to get one. The Yankees, on the other hand, kind of surprised that they're exempt from this, but regardless, let's move on to the Twins. They brought out their City Connect. Uniform pays tribute to the state of Minnesota, the landscape, the lakes, and the wildlife in this uniform. As you guys see, it is a light blue and dark blue combo with yellow accents for the jersey, the whole uniform actually. The color shifting on the jersey, though, represents ripples of water, so kind of busy, kind of all over the place there. The logo on the front is something we've kind of seen before, but it's new. We see that M with that diamond on their new hats, their alternate hats, but now we see an MN on the front with that diamond. So I like that incorporation there. The yellow in there with that diamond kind of makes that pop too with the white numbers or white letters. So I think that looks good. Similar to those diamond hats. So I think that all looks really good there. The logo on the arm is a loon, which is happened to be the state bird. I don't like this logo at all. I can't really figure it out, to be completely honest. I don't know if it's flying. I don't know what it is. I don't like that logo at all. I think it's too hard to understand there. Cool meaning, bad logo. The hat is a very dark blue with a yellow bill. It says 10,000 lakes on the side, obviously for 10,000 lakes in the state. And the state of Minnesota is in the outline with that water accent that's taken from the uniform into the inside of the hat. I think that's a cool implementation there. Not a huge fan of the hat either. I don't think I'd wear this myself. Maybe if you were a Minnesota fan, you'd like it, you'd buy it. But as an outsider, I don't like it. I think that I like their regular stuff better. These will set to debut against Oakland this weekend. They'll play with them in 2 games. What do I get them? 6.1. I think they're good, but not great. Really, honestly, nothing wrong with them. It's kind of busy, but I like the colors. I like the meaning behind it. I think that logo on the arm looks really bad, but the logo on the front, to me, I think looks good. The numbers look fine. The white numbers or light blue numbers. It's just kind of whatever to me. That's why I give it a 6.1. Kind of the middle pack. A little bit better than some of the other ones, but not great to me. So that's unfortunate, though. But that is it for City Connects. We only know that one more team will be getting a second City Connect. So I don't know if we're going to have another second round of City Connects, and Los Angeles is the first team to get the second one, or LA is just getting a second City Connect. I don't know. It's something to look for, but expect those uniforms to drop, I guess, fairly soon, since everybody has their City Connect in their hands now. So that'll be something to watch in the news upcoming weeks here. We got 2 teams that are going to be doing rebrands for the NHL. So as you guys know or don't know, we've been talking about probably the last couple of months Fanatics have been taking over or going to take over this upcoming season for jerseys, and we're not going to see most of the same kind of template for this upcoming season. But after a little bit, I think of 3 seasons, we're going to see a new template. I would expect just the Fanatics F on the back of these uniforms here to just be swapped out with that Adidas logo. Just swap the two and keep the same thing. But we're hearing that 2 teams are going to be able to rebrand. I'm going to say first, Boston is going to go back to their old uniforms. I think that is just a grandfather did. We all knew that the 100th anniversary, we're not going to last longer than this. So they're going to get back into their old uniforms. We're going to see new uniforms for the Stadium Series and Winter Classic games. So Detroit, Columbus will get new ones for that Stadium Series in Columbus, Ohio. And the Blackhawks and the Blues will be getting it for the Winter Classic in Wrigley Field. So those will be cool. Curious to see what Fanatics will do with that. But the 2 major ones we'll talk about, we'll start off with the LA Kings. They're going to be rebranding back to the 90s era Gretzky look. I'll pop up a picture now. It's going to look, I think, pretty much identical. We're going to see probably the modernized look of the materials. I think that implementation of that like silver fleck on the arms from their modernized alternate logo or alternate jersey that we see now is going to be coming back. I would be very surprised if it doesn't, unless Fanatics says that they can't produce that kind of thing on their uniforms. But then Vegas is out there, so I would expect Fanatics to put that silver fleck in there with that accent. I think it really does make it pop. I actually really like it there. So I would expect something kind of similar to the alternate uniform. The only thing that we know is when to get a modernized crown underneath the word Kings in the Chevron logo. So that will be something to keep an eye on there. So I would not expect the shiny helmets to come back. No chrome domes for the Kings. Maybe as an alternate, kind of like what Vegas does, but Vegas doesn't even do them that often. I think only 2 or 3 times this past season they wore the gold shiny reflective helmets, and Vancouver only used it for 1 game. So I would not expect the Kings to use that as a full-time, maybe a specialty time. And the other team, saved for last, because it's my team, the Anaheim Ducks, will be rebranding, kind of rebranding. I don't know if you want to really call it that. They're just going to change their primary logos by the sounds of it. So when you see the D logo on all their uniforms now, besides that orange alternate logo that was the old Mighty Ducks, and that was in the year before this past year. They were using it up to there. Then they dropped it for the 30th anniversary jersey, and then bringing it back for this upcoming year. And it's going to be probably the home jersey. So we're going to expect a orange jersey this year, being a modernized duck logo. So I don't know what that implements. I don't know if it just means different shading, shadowing there. The sticks kind of get modernized there. There's not much you can do to that logo. I definitely don't want to mess it up. So people will get mad if you messed it up. So you don't want to do too much of modernizing it. But I would expect that D logo to either be eliminated or on the shoulders of the jersey. So is that going to be it? I don't know. Haven't heard much about it. When it comes to the road uniform, it's going to be Reverse Retro 2.0 for them. Pop up a picture now what it looks like. They had no logos on the shoulders. That's why it kind of implements me that we're not going to see shoulder logos, and we're not going to see even the D logo coming back. Maybe it will be a logo down the line or something like that, or maybe they'll drop it all together, but not going to be expected to see that. Also hearing news that we are going to hear pants and helmets are going to be orange for this upcoming season, both home and road uniforms. So that also makes me think that it's going to have to be orange related. I mean, we're not going to have a black uniform with orange helmets and pants. So if that's the case, it seems like we're going to go all Nashville Predators in with the orange, which I'm fine with. I like the modern colors that we have now. Everybody that likes those old colors, I think this is a good best of both worlds here. But I don't know. I need to see it. So that's what I know right now. But we got a cool design from Shane. I'll leave his socials down low right here as I'll pop up his design. He was very awesome. I reached out to him and said, hey, I saw your concept and really liked it. And he allowed me to share it with all you guys. So here it is right now. So pretty much just swapping that Adidas logo for the Fanatics logo back there. But if you look at the collar, I think the collar looks really good. I think the shoulder logos actually are kind of cool. It looks like their modernized duck logo that we have now, which is a oval with the old Mighty Ducks logo inside. So I think implementing that D logo back in could work. Personally, I don't think it's going to, but I like what he did here. The main logos, very modernized, different, but we've seen that logo before. We just haven't seen it in this orientation. So personally, I think this logo and uniform looks very good. I think it's very plausible, but I would not expect it to be a face-on logo when it comes down to the new Mighty Ducks look. I would expect it to be the side profile and just kind of changed a little bit when it comes to shading or the sticks or something like that, maybe the shape or something like that. I would expect it to just be that side profile there. When it comes to the striping, I actually like the swoop striping. It reminds me of the 07 era when they won the cup with that kind of not straight striping there, which I actually really like. I think it looks good. I think it's a best of all the eras so far. You get the modernized Duck logo with the modern colors, plus the 07 Stanley Cup era striping, which I really like there. The numbers seem to be from the 90s era too, which I like. I think it looks good. What do I not like about this uniform? Honestly, not much. I think the only thing is I would expect it to be almost as much 90s as possible. So I wouldn't expect it to be swoop, but I really like the swoop. I think I hope they do it because I think he's got something going on here. I think this definitely could work, and if it does, if this comes out to be what the design is, big shout out to Shane because he may have nailed it here. But really like the uniform. Thank you so much for letting us look at it and react to it because I think it's a great uniform. Definitely worth looking into. But go check out the socials. He does a lot of jersey concepts. I've looked at some of his other stuff. Really like the concepts there. So a lot of fun. Really fun to look at. So if you guys like that kind of stuff, go check out his socials. All right, let's do the cleanup now. Oklahoma softball has won 4 straight national championships after sweeping Texas in 2 games. They're the first softball team to do this. And pitcher Kelly Maxwell was recognized as the most outstanding player of the tournament. So congrats to everybody on that team, especially Kinsey Hansen. Went to high school with her. Congrats being a 4-time champ. That's freaking awesome. So congrats there. College Baseball World Series is set. Here are the teams. Florida State, Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Kentucky, and NC State. I don't know who to go for. I would say Tennessee is probably the hands down the favorite, even though they did go to 3 games with Evansville. But I'm going to go Texas A&M. I think the Aggies have what it takes to get the championship there. So I'm going to go Texas A&M as my college baseball champs. UConn men's basketball coach Dan Hurley is returning to UConn despite being offered a $6 year, $70 million contract from the LA Lakers to be their head coach. I would not take that job either. I don't think taking that Laker job is successful chances there. So I think going back to college, I think he's a great college coach too. So I think that's going to be a better option for Hurley there. So he's going back to UConn to try and win 3rd straight national championship. Red Bull Racing has announced 2 things. Their top team, Sergio Perez, will be re-signing for 2 years, and their bottom team, their smaller team, Yuki Tsunoda, will be coming back for next season. So that's 2 other spots taken up by Formula 1 drivers. Not a lot of spots left, but a lot of drivers that still need homes. New York Giants, Darren Waller announces that he will be retiring. Kind of surprised. Didn't really see this one coming. Saw it a couple days ago, and was very surprised to see that. But I don't blame him. Giants aren't that great. He's really honestly not been a top player anymore in the league when it comes to tight ends, so just hang it up. Pittsburgh's head coach Mike Tomlin announces that he will be extended for a 3-year contract, so he will come back to the Steelers for 3 more years. And the most bizarre thing we probably had on the podcast, we talk about a lot of things. We talk about college, we talk about pros, we talk about overseas soccer and things like that. But this is something that I did not expect. The Nathan hot dog eating contest that's always on 4th of July will not see Joey Chestnut anymore. He is actually banned for, I'm guessing, as long as his contract, because he signed a 4-year, $1.2 million deal with Impossible Foods, a vegan food company, which is pretty much a rival to anything that has to do with real meat. And Nathan's has announced that Joey Chestnut is not welcome back, and if that means forever, very surprising because he is the absolute champ. Definitely fun to watch and a household name when it comes to that championship, and honestly on 4th of July. But not good news there. Don't know what made him sign this. I'm not sure if he's a big possible foods guy or a vegan guy or he's just changing his diet, but doesn't seem to be a very good deal in the long term. So we'll see what happens though. All right, games of the weekend. We'll start off in the NHL. Florida and Edmonton, Game 4, Saturday at 5 p.m. on ABC. MLB, we got the Phillies and the Orioles for a 3-game set. NBA, we got Boston and Dallas, Game 4, Friday at 5:30 p.m. ABC. The Euros is starting up this weekend, but I got Saturday 9 a.m. on Fox. We got Spain and Croatia. And lastly, NASCAR, Iowa Speedway at Sunday on the USA channel at 4 p.m. All right, guys. Well, hey, that would do it for this episode. Thank you guys for listening. Sorry for the late release. A lot of stuff has been backing me up. So hopefully you guys listen to this on Wednesday still. If not, I appreciate you guys just checking back in. We're going to get back into the normal swing of things. Maybe have a couple of special episodes coming up. So stay tuned for that. Check out the socials as well for all the news on the podcast. Appreciate you guys listening to this one. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you guys later.